Well, welcome to my first really proper video on this bike. Apologies for the first video when I picked it up. I didn't realise that well, the mic was attached to a mic boom that's part of this helmet. It must have somehow moved away, and so it was, I think it was far away from my mouth, so hence why we weren't really getting good sound quality, unfortunately. So most of that video you were fortunate enough that you couldn't actually hear me. Now I'm going to lead into this video with my first little gripe with this bike, and it's right now. The indicators are the strangest thing ever, right? I mean, on my Harley, I'm used to the Harley, left and right, that's no problem, right? But on this bike, they're placed right underneath here, and when you put them on, they take forever to self-cancel. And then I didn't know how to cancel them, but of course it's this button here, and even that you have to push up. So you've got left and right buttons, and to cancel them you've got to push this button up. Now I'm sure BMW riders have gotten used to that and it's not a big deal, but I find that the placement of the indicators, it's almost like you've got to look. And that's at the roundabout there, that's what I was doing. I was looking, and of course I steered over towards the roundabout. So as a safety thing, that just doesn't seem to ring right. Hopefully this mic's working right this time. But apart from that, this is really my first day of doing some miles on it and seeing if there's any potential problems. But so far I've been over the bike, I've cleaned it all, I've ACF50'd it, I've dropped a little bit of oil out of it because it had a little bit too much oil in it. I bought the full service kit for it, so it's going to get an oil change and everything, air filter, plugs, the lot. I bought the lot. I'm also going to do the dry shaft splines while I'm at it, and check the valves obviously, and I think that's going to be a full service basically. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be interesting. It's never a good idea to be adjusting things when you're on the move. Torque wise, it's really good. I mean, it almost feels like it shouldn't it should need another gear, you know, but certainly the torque levels in it are superb. I think, you know, it's 1100cc, it's about 100 brake horsepower, so you're going to expect that the torque spread is going to be pretty good on it, and it is. It's excellent. Hopefully you're not getting too much wind noise here. Can't get my visor shut properly because of the strap that's holding the camera, so there might be a little bit of buffeting in there, but certainly the mic should be now working close to my mouth, and that should mean sadly you will hear me. I had said when I stopped the last time that I didn't think it didn't have the stereo, that I wasn't overly bothered about it because chances are I won't really use it, but lo and behold, when I got back and opened up the side case, there was the original stereo. The key code was in with the manual, and I was able to fire it in and fire it up, and so it's nice to have, for originality, it's really nice to have it. I might not use it, but it's nice to have it. So I'm just getting used to the bike. It's very agile, you know, it feels very flickable, that I will say. I have got to get used to the gears, what everything is, but that's part of what I'm doing today. I might get hit by rain today. Again, I'm not too worried. You want to get out at this time of the year. you're going to have to accept that you might have to take a bit of rain. But that was an easy enough overtake. It's deceptively fast. It doesn't feel like it's doing much speed, but at the moment it's certainly doing, well, it was doing 70 there, it was creeping up. Just now it feels almost like it could do another gear. I've not really noticed any of the vibrations that I've read about. I don't know if maybe the previous model was more prone to that. They did do something with the foot pegs on this model, I believe, to try and absorb some of the vibration. Right now I'm in the wrong gear, but it's pulling really well, 4th gear, and it just pulls. So if you want to relax and give your left hand a wee rest, this bike is ideal for that, that's for sure. That car has been there for weeks, burnt out. New front tyre, so just still really got to bed that in a little bit. I don't actually know where I'm going today, but just not too long. We'll be heading into Kirkcaldy. We'll be heading into Kirkcaldy. Watching the football last night. I'm from Kirkcaldy originally. I lived there for 42 years, so I am a Kirkcaldy boy. And watching the Rovers last night, and the torture of my life is always watching Scotland and following Raith Rovers, but well, last night was quite a game, quite a goal. That second goal was unbelievable. That goal would grace the foot of the most talented football player in the world, and he'd be proud of it. It was really that good. It's just phenomenal. What a way to win a game and break the losing streak long last. Now, I'm not sure about the heated grips. I'm thinking that, is this off or on? I don't know. They don't feel cold. I'm just not sure. The weather's been absolutely crap. There's been nothing but crappy rain, and you know, I just got to the stage where I've had this 2 weeks now, and I thought, right, I've got to get out, I've got to give it a run, make sure everything's okay, even if I have to clean it again. I've managed to get the I noticed that where the key goes in doesn't have the proper plate on it, it's just blank, but I've managed to order that, and I've got that along with my service kit, so I'm going to fit the original ignition key surround. Getting bits for the bike, piece of cake. It really is well supplied for bits. It's a really good buy. It's a sort of a, if you want a bit to buy something that could become a bit of a classic, it's a good brand to get into, because there seems to be very good supply chain for these older BMWs. Comfort is super. I'm probably just about the right size for it. My legs, my knee pads are slightly against the fairing, but not annoyingly so. So I feel quite comfortable on it, and the weather protection is absolutely second to none. I don't think you could be better shielded from weather than this. I'm not sure what this person's doing, turning in here by the looks of it. There's been a bit of wet weather around, but again you can see the bike just picks up no problem. Very hard to visualise this as being 30 years old, and it's only done what, just under 31,000 miles. It's not a lot of miles for this kind of bike, and it's in really amazing condition. It's about as good condition as you could wish for a 30-year-old bike. I don't think, you know, unless something was restored, I don't think you could really ask for it to be in better condition. It's absolutely amazing. It really has been well looked after. Now, some people would buy this bike and maybe be put off by the weight, because it is a heavier bike, but it's, compared to my Harley, it's a moped really, so I don't really feel the weight's an issue. I know that with any big bike, it's all about, a lot of the time when you're stationary and having to push it backwards or manoeuvre it, that's when you begin to really hate the weight. Now I've got to watch my licence. I've got 6 points to now, all speeding points, stupid speeding points basically. They were, you know, just, you almost feel like targeted in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. Okay, I was doing 40, but it's just annoying to get a ticket like that. But anyway, it's, you know, I got one. It'll be 3 years this July, August that I got the first one. I think they technically only last 3 years, but they stay on your licence for 4, but the insurance companies keep them for 5, just to use it against you obviously. So anyway, I've got to be careful. I can't really afford to get any more points, so I am constantly watching my speed, making sure I keep things down. But trucking along in top gear, it really does pull absolutely superbly. Can't complain. So far there's nothing about this bike that I can say I dislike. I like the way that it's put together. The build quality is probably one of the best I've seen. It's the little things, it's the little thoughts that are put into certain things, and you come across them here and there and you think, oh, you know, that's just it's almost like somebody building a Rolls Royce and adding in those little features that make it a Rolls Royce, you know. Now, I'm not a BMW fan. I've never owned a BMW until this one. I've always liked the BMWs, just like I've always liked the Harleys. Gearbox is relatively good. It can get a little bit hit or miss through neutral, but you can kind of get it. I mean, it's a 1994 bike, it's got a gear indicator. I mean, come on. It's just amazing, you know. If you look at all the technological wonders on this bike and of its time, it really is superb, you know. Now, I know that the indicators on and off and all that stuff, you might automate eventually and just get used to it, but it definitely is quirky, to say the least, at the moment. So this is Starts Park, and that's where the magic happened last night, and they beat Dundee United 2-1. Great result that breaks their losing streak and gets them back into 1 point behind Dundee United. I think it'll be a tough call for them to overtake Dundee United. I think they need to really pick up their play. Hopefully this might inspire them, it might give them the confidence back. They certainly haven't had a very good 4 or 5 games. They've totally slid off the radar. Now, this will go out at some point. I do have another battery with me. Typical GoPro batteries don't last long at all. But you can see I'm in 4th gear. I'm I'm doing just over 30 mile an hour, and really I shouldn't be in 4th gear, but it just is, it's so torquey and feels like you're really ready to change up. But you can rev this bike out a bit and you'll get a bit of the performance of it, because it does move relatively quite well, I believe. This is a favourite bike for, has become a very favourite bike for being turned into a cafe racer. Seems a shame, but I suppose it would depend on the age of the bike and its condition and so forth. It might be the next logical thing for someone to do to it. It does make, I have to say, unusually a very nice cafe racer. You would think with this engine design it shouldn't work, but it actually works really well. See, I'm trying to press the indicator again to put it off, and I need the cancel button, so it really does fry my head at the moment, but we'll give it time. So this is Kirkcaldy. This is where I was brought up. I think what I'll do is I might actually, if hopefully the camera lasts, I'll take you around my old neighbourhood. Just a chance to run the bike under all different sort of circumstances, see how we get on with it. But I don't think there's going to be anything to worry about. Temperature gauge is behaving quite nicely. I do believe that it's quite economical. That's the indicator off, but it just doesn't, you know, it's on your throttle hand. It would make more sense if it was on this hand. So the whole design is just nuts. It's just, I've got to say, it's just nuts, you know. I know I'm used to Japanese bikes mostly, but I'm just going to go for it here. You know, the Harley was the first introduction to the indicator being on either side. I've got to say, I love that. I find that very easy to use, but this system is just so weird. Well, this is Beneke Road, comes down into Hendry Road. Can argue now actually this is Hendry Road. It's so long since I've been here. I hope I'm even getting the street names right. But I was brought up here. I used to walk up and down this street quite often to go down to the high street. At that time Kirkcaldy had a fantastic high street. It's just a ghost high street now, of course, like a lot of high streets, as online mania takes its hold. This is Valley Gardens to the left. Car there waiting to pull out. So I'm in 3rd gear, pulling quite well there, but you can just see what I mean. You get to about 3000 RPM, it just feels like a natural place to change. But if you really want to get the performance out of the bike, you can hold on to it a bit and obviously take it through the rev range a bit. Now I used to live over there, that house is empty at the moment, but I used to live in that house. And not far away from there is a house that I was brought up in for 20 odd years of my life. I'm just about to take you around there now. Nothing behind me there. My friend lived in that house. His older brother was into Harleys, the Davidsons. We go up here, where that white van is there, that was my house, my mum and dad's house. Wow, it looks quite different. My friends all lived round here. We all used to hang around this cul-de-sac. I don't know if any of them are still here now. Highly unlikely, I suppose. And this corner here was where I came off my push bike. It's a story for a day. And up there was the front of my house, 14 Campsie Crescent was where I lived. My mum and dad lived in there from the day it was built, and they both lived there until they died. I had some friends who lived up here. This is Campsie Crescent still. And then down there that way is the school, Valley Gardens School that I went to. Temple Hall was over there, it's no longer there anymore, it's houses. And this was Dunerne Drive coming up. The next one is Dunerne Drive, and my friend lived there, PK. Again, another story for another day. We're coming up to quite a tough area of Kirkcaldy. Temple Hall has had its reputation in the past. My friend used to live in that house just where that 20 sign is there. PK was a character and a half. And he looks like he's pissed off that he's had to wait on me. That there was the police station. Temple Hall Cafe now, that was the tavern, and it was as rough as nails. This was an area where it was tough. It's getting quite hot there actually. Not getting hot, but certainly getting higher. I just don't like this indicator setup at all. Temperature's looking okay there. I do know that they have a reputation of running a bit on the hot side, these bikes. People complain about the heat coming from them. In Scotland, of course, that is just not an issue whatsoever. Most of the time you're freezing your balls off. So the difficulty for me is I'm trying to get used to the indicators and the rest of the bike, and I'm finding the indicators are taking up far too much attention, too much from me. I think we'll go this way. We're going to get dirty anyway, so let's just do it. So you can see that was in second gear. So I just want to treat the bike as normal and stop, start, do that kind of thing, just the kind of things you would normally do, and just see if there's any potential issues. Temperature sneaking back down. Right, this is a place that I used to come to. You got a good view of Kirkcaldy. So we'll just park up here, hopefully, not get in the way. We are going forward a little bit. Might be alright, I'm not going to be long anyway. Totally screwed up my gears there. Okay, that's my bad. But that's the trouble, is it's such a torquey bike that